Hello, my friends. I'm batch filming today. All I did was change my shirt. Same pants, sweatpants, and then I put on lipstick. This is how we do. This is how I balance a full-time job as a pharmacist and a YouTuber that can sometimes put out 2 videos a week. So I have adopted the tools of minimalism and intentionality into my life in order to sort of streamline and only surround myself with things that I actually use, love, and enjoy. Everything else is just clutter, it's excess, it's noise, it's stress. But in order to curate a space that makes you feel calm and feels purposeful, you need to start somewhere. You need to start decluttering. And sometimes decluttering is hard. We like our stuff, we are attached to our stuff, we feel sentimental about our stuff. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about things that I found hard to declutter and how I ended up letting go of them. And today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, but I'll talk about them a little more later in the video. One of the first things that I found really difficult to declutter, and I still find hard to declutter, are expensive items. Things that I felt I paid a lot of money for, or things that were premium, high-end, brand name products. And I'll tell you, it's difficult, but here's the thing, and here's how I'm letting go of those items. One is telling myself that the money is already gone. It's long gone. When I would hold the thing in my hand, wondering if I should declutter it or not, I would really focus a lot on, oh, I had to work this many hours to get that thing. Oh man, it was so expensive. All of those thoughts would sort of float around in my head, and it would make it really hard to justify letting go of the item. But I guess the one nice thing about having expensive items or things that you paid a lot of money for, especially if you took good care of it, is that you can try to do your best to recoup that cost by selling the item on platforms like Depop, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace. So a lot of my expensive items, I did just that. I sold them on Depop, I sold them to friends, I took them to consignment stores so I could get a little bit of money back from that expensive item. But the bottom line in the decluttering process was, 1, I was not wearing it, 2, it did not bring me joy or value, and 3, I didn't love it because I wanted to get rid of it. I think the common thread that you'll see in why things are so difficult to declutter sometimes is that a lot of these things have some sort of attachment or connection to how we see ourselves and how we value ourselves. They have a connection to our self-worth in some way. When it was an expensive item, I was very focused on the idea that because I bought this expensive thing, I had made it in some way. But really looking back on that thing, I wasn't fooling anyone, and I especially wasn't fooling myself because I was walking around with a negative net worth in my bank account. But I looked good, because once you can disconnect yourself from the stuff and the idea that this stuff is somehow tied to who you are as a person, your self-worth, and how you represent yourself, once you sever that connection, you'll really start to see that all of that value is coming from you and not your stuff, not what you're wearing. Just because you viewed the thing as mine or was once mine doesn't mean that it's me, as in you.
You pressed you, referring to me. That is incorrect. The correct answer is you.
The second thing I had a really hard time letting go of were so nice items. You know those items in your closet that you totally forgot you had, and in the midst of decluttering you pull it out and you're just like, oh, that's so nice. Oh, what? How come I forgot I had this? It's so nice. Oh, I have such good taste. I've said that to myself a lot. I'm sure I feel like I have good taste. I know what I like. And that's all relative, but you know what I'm saying. But the bottom line is that I forgot that item was even there. And if I forgot it was even there, when I declutter it, I'm probably gonna forget that I even had it. It's letting go of that attachment and letting go of those things that are holding you back that it's very easy to rationalize your way into thinking that you need to keep it, or regretting letting go of it, or creating scenarios of what if. I'm glad that it's nice. Someone else is gonna think it's nice too, so let them enjoy it instead. The third item I had a really hard time letting go of in the decluttering process were I could items. Items where I would say to myself, oh, I could definitely make 3 looks out of this, or I could wear it here, or I could wear it to this party, or I could wear it to this wedding that's never gonna happen. So when it comes to I could items, I think this is where you can really test yourself. If you decide to keep the pieces, then make sure you are making a point to use them and style them in those ways, and be specific about it. Give yourself a time frame. So if there was an item in the back of your closet that you could wear in these 3 to 5 ways, challenge yourself to do that. Give yourself a month, a week, 2 months, whatever it is, whatever works for you and in your everyday life. Give yourself a time frame, and if you didn't style the item if you didn't use it, then that should be a signal to let it go. The fourth type of item that I would have a hard time decluttering were just in case items. The just in case, what if, just in case I gain weight, just in case I lose weight, just in case I have this wedding. And I would rationalize almost everything in being just in case. I hate to break it to you, but just in case is never coming. And if that thing was gone and that just in case thing came, you're gonna use something else because you're adaptable. We can adapt to whatever situation or scenario that we're in, and we're creative. So maybe you, for a split second, will regret letting go of that dress when that wedding comes along, but you know you have other things in your wardrobe that you can wear and you'll look just as good, feel just as good. You're not going to be thinking about the dress that you wish you kept when you're actually at the event, spending time with real people and developing real relationships. So have you guys been enjoying some of the little drawings and text that you've been seeing in this video? That's because I've been wanting to use my iPad a little bit more and specifically use the app Procreate to start drawing and creating little custom text and animations in my videos after taking a class by Brooke Glacier on Skillshare. So Brooke's class goes through everything you need to know if you want to get started drawing on the iPad and creating your own illustrations, designs, text, anything you want. She goes through all the tips and tricks of how to use Procreate and a bunch of little hacks to make it easier and more efficient as you do it. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes where anyone can come to learn illustration, photography, Procreate, art, and so much more. And for less than $10 a month for the yearly subscription, you have access to thousands of classes that they update all the time, so you can always stay inspired and stay learning. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description will get a free premium membership trial, so you can start exploring your own creativity and maybe start drawing on Procreate yourself. But let's get back to decluttering. Look at that, I drew that. Eee. The next thing I think a lot of people have a hard time decluttering are gifts and sentimental items. I don't know, sentimental items to me are weird because I think there can be a lot of positive reasons why we hold on to things, and there can also be a lot of negative reasons, like you feel guilty, you feel like you might offend someone. But if there's items that you do not get joy out of, or the only thing that comes to your mind when you think about actually getting rid of it is guilt or worrying about offending somebody, then I don't think that's a good enough reason to keep it. And I think sometimes there's a fear of letting go of a memory or a feeling when you let go of that thing. And I don't think those two thoughts necessarily have to be all that connected. And if you do have some fears about losing memories or letting go of memories, I think taking photos of items and having a digital library of those things is a really great way to look back on those things and sort of rehash those feelings when you want to experience them. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of all your sentimental items. If you put on your grandmother's old jacket and you think of her every time you wear it and you love wearing it, or even if you don't wear it and every time you look at it, it brings you happiness and peace and great memories, absolutely keep that item. Keep whatever has meaning to you. But when we start attaching meaning to everything, then I think that meaning starts to get lost in those things. So sentimental items and gifts are definitely a sore spot when it comes to decluttering. And again, you don't have to get rid of it all at once. But I think there's ways of preserving memories if it is indeed a memory that thing sparks for you. And I also don't think that guilt or worrying about offending someone if you get rid of it is a good enough reason to hold on to something either. The sixth thing that I experienced when I decluttered that I had a hard time with was items that I had to rationalize into sparking joy. Basically, it would be things where I would hold in my hand, Marie Kondo style, and think about if it sparked joy or not. But there are the things that wouldn't spark that immediate joy. Like it wouldn't be an instantaneous feeling that I experienced when I held the thing in my hand and decided whether or not I was going to keep it. It's because all those other barriers would start to come up, like, oh, it's so expensive, oh, it's so nice, oh, I could wear it these ways. So really what I think all those things boil down to is rationalizing whether or not the thing sparks joy for you. So if you find that you're not experiencing that immediate yes, and it's like ending up in the maybe pile more often than not when it comes to your decluttering process, then I think it's a cue to start thinking about getting rid of it. Again, I'm not saying you have to do it right away, but things that end up in the maybe pile or in the rationalizing spark joy pile have to start going through a test. And over time, you have to find out if they pass or not. Because in my experience, that spark joy feeling is pretty immediate. And I usually feel pretty clear about it when I do experience that feeling. You know what? Decluttering is hard, especially when you spent a lot of time curating a stuff pile that you may have enjoyed at some point or that you put a lot of thought into. That's definitely me too. But when you're choosing to declutter and create space for yourself so you can start experiencing the benefits of a less cluttered home, like more time, less stress, and more clarity, then you start realizing that these things are not the missing pieces in your life that make you any more whole than you already are. So let me know things that you've had a hard time decluttering and how you sort of work your way through that. Did you get rid of it? Did you not? Let's have a discussion down below in the comments. Leave this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps me out. And if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.